Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. This is TW9. We are All Elite Wrestling, and we're about to begin. If you haven't seen the first video, part of me doesn't blame you. It's nearly 2 hours long. Um, Probably going to be split up into a part A and part B for sure. Maybe part A, part B, part C. I don't know. I've just recorded it, and I want to get playing, even though it's really late at night, because yeah, I've just talked about the game for 2 hours. I kind of want to play it now. So yeah. So if you haven't seen that video, we go over the mods that we used, my history very, very briefly with wrestling, and with EWR leading to TEW, which is the game we're playing, and its predecessor. I took a break from it, etc. Like, we go over that in the beginning. Then we kind of go over the work I put in of how to learn and how you can learn how to play this as well. Different videos I watched, the in-game manual, how I transcribe parts of that to make sense to myself into a um into a file here, as well as just bits about my company I need to keep an eye on. But basically, I put all this together as a reference document, a living document I can use. So there is that there. There is also the very crazy and funny, to me, very funny, maybe not to anyone the level of craziness it takes, of my entire roster built out, split up into the backstage kind of worker roles that are going to help me in certain ways, and a list of short listed people, which is nowhere near complete. My short list is like 4 times as long as this number of people. I've got 38 people on the list. Um, but I have done all that so that I have a lot of resources at my disposal. I can then just play the game, and anything I need to know or anything I need to look up really quickly that I might not be able to find in game, or might not be able to easily compare or contrast in game, I have at my disposal. So it took 3 games to set everything up. I have never clicked advance on TW9. I played a little bit of TW 2020, and that was it. Um, and then probably a few years prior to that, I played TAW, and then way back when I played EWR. So yeah, I feel like I'm set up. We've gone over basic ideas. We know a little bit about our company, so I want to start here at the company. So we are AEW. I feel like we're in a solid place, number 2 in the world, behind WWE. A decent challenge to catch up to them, stop our talent from getting stolen by them, maybe steal some off them along the way. Um, I feel like that's a good goal. Holding off the challenge of people like ROH, our sister company, and TNA, which is growing. I think that's a good challenge right there. Maybe help some other companies grow underneath and alongside us. There is progress over in Great Britain that I kind of think could be fun. Um, so yeah, they're not amazing right now, but like maybe we can help them out and help them grow. We are already friendly. I've done a little bit of this work with them, just going and talking to them. So there is that. Maybe add them to an alliance. Maybe get friendly with All Japan and add them to our alliance. And for some reason, TNA is no longer in the WWE alliance. I don't know why. I don't know why, because they should really be in here. They've got a working relationship. So currently they got AAA, they got WWE, and they got NXT. It's just us and Ring of Honor. I think those are my 3 that I wouldn't mind adding in. All Japan is prestigious. It may be small, but it's prestigious, and we can make them a force in Japan. With Ring of Honor and TNA behind us, then I think that is pretty good, right? Bring TNA up to like medium, bring Ring of Honor up to small, bring All Japan up to medium. We can bring Progress up to medium, which would make it the biggest company in Britain, and then maybe even go into Canada. Maybe go to Evil Uno's company. How about that? Mystery Wrestling, and kind of make them into something. So I've done a little bit of work on this already in terms of just going and talking to them and whatnot. But we do like Evil Uno. He's a good dude. He is a good dude. And Stu, his partner. Like, should we bring Stu in? Should we bring Stu and put him back in the Dark Order? I don't think so. But yeah. Super Smash Brothers. Player Uno, player Dos. Some very funny comedy wrestling back in the days. There's a lot of Shikara stuff, which is fantastic. There's a lot of Colt Cabana stuff, El Generico stuff, which is also fantastic from back then. Yeah, just this perfect capsule of time, and then the evolution of those people into people like Sami Zayn. Claudio Castagnoli becomes Cesaro in WWE. Player Uno becomes Evil Uno. Player Dos becomes Stu Grayson. They become the Dark Order. They become their thing. Like, yeah. Maybe there's a reason here to go after mystery wrestling. So that'll be Canada. That would be Britain. That would be Japan. Get the big indies, Ring of Honor and TNA, in America underneath us. And then it would, like, CMLL's already got its own alliance. This then becomes the tricky one, is what do we do in Mexico? Like, if AAA falls out of the alliance with WWE, then we 100% go in. If CMLL falls out of the Bushi Road, then 100% we can go with them. Yeah, apart from that, I don't know what else we could do. Probably create our own company in Mexico. Maybe. Yeah, you can see we've done a bunch. We've released two people. We released Sarah Stock and Eddie Kingston. That may be all we've done. So you can see here, Sarah's pretty decent. She just wasn't popular and didn't really have a ton for her. Plus, she was upset by some of the changes we've made. So, yeah, kind of sucks to get rid of her. Definitely sucks to get rid of Eddie. We've gone over. We've promoted a lot of people to the Inner Circle, which we will be looking at to begin this. She was really unhappy that she was gone. I removed Matt and Nick, which upset them, which upset Kenny, and upset Brandon Cutler, who wasn't that upset, so he's okay. But Matt, Nick, and Kenny had to go out on holiday for a couple of weeks because of that. We've added people to the booking team, and we signed a bunch of new broadcasting deals. Not great ones, but just stuff that we can get underway, all for events. Nothing for TV right now. Affiliated with the Heart Dungeon and the Funkin' Conservatory, and we're friendly with a trade agreement with the NWA, friendly with a mystery, friendly with Progress. That brings us all up to date in our news and everything that's kind of been going on. And I do like that. You can tell from every company kind of what's going on by this little news headline in the companies. So that's kind of cool. I think like I say, look, we'll go to the office. We've got a lot of stuff to get on with. So let's kind of get on with it. Go over the inner circle. So you saw we made some changes here too. So again, you can just click on something. The chief enforcements are the disciplinarians. They keep everyone in line backstage. So you want tough, well-respected guys. Okay. Well, toughest person in the locker room, professional, well-suited. He is pleased by that. We can even go in and see that, yeah, he is pretty tough. He's a little menacing, and he is fairly well um, looked after. Now, who else did we have? Oh, yeah, John Moxley. So, yeah, Cesaro, the Swiss Superman, 100%. He fits. Again, really like him a lot. So, that's a no-brainer. And Mox isn't showing up here. Can't click on his name here, can I? No. Okay. But yeah, we could have added other people like Bobby Lashley, Okada, Kotobushi, Paul White, and Tomohiro Ishii as well. But we didn't. We've gone with John Moxley, who I think is a very good choice. Shibata's a very good choice. Castagnoli's a very good choice. Locker room leaders, these are the ones that when they're happy, everybody's happy. It's easier to keep Daniel Bryan happy or Bryan Danielson happy. Yeah, I guess I can't see those. I can't click up here. But yeah, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, three of my kind of favorites from that time period by far. Sting's the icon. I haven't added the fifth. I haven't really seen anyone that's just like their personality fits. So I really want to think about putting someone into that role and kind of like what I'm gonna try and achieve by putting someone in there. So it needs to be the right person, and this is stacked for me. Like I say, Bryan Danielson, Christopher Daniels, Sting, Samoa Joe, huge people. That needs to be somebody that I can really 100% count on in there. My head of talent relations is kind of the one that's dealing with the backstage incidents. We keep that Christopher Daniels. The Fallen Angel is absolutely phenomenal, and he's got so many good things back here. Um, we love Chris, 100%. One of my favorites, 100%. The morale officer keeping people happy is also a locker room leader and all round just amazing guy. The figurehead, the best wrestler, one of the best talkers, one of the most star power, one of the most over, a best trainer, one of the best color commentators, one of the best bookers. Like it's like yeah, it's tough from a company point of view not to love Danielson. Kind of like Triple H in WWE. It feels like if he really wanted to, then that succession could easily happen. But he is just him. He is absolutely him. So it makes sense to involve him, even though we're kind of tying everything to him right now. He's the head men's trainer. He's the figurehead of the company, the morale officer, one of the locker room leaders. Like it is him. Senior road agent Dean Malenko is a good choice for that. So feel free to pause and read these. I'm going to go through them very quickly. Very quickly, but the men's head trainer and the women's very similar. I wanted a woman to train the women because you don't need to, but that's kind of helpful. And so I went with Emi Sakura. And for the trainers, I believe this was Jerry Lynn, I think, was the head trainer. But Bryan Danielson is just a better option. And if it wasn't him, it was gonna be Christopher Daniels, because they both have the fantastic thing back here of natural trainer, which makes them better. And if I didn't want to put a female in charge of the females, I didn't mind having a guy in charge, then Christopher Daniels could have been the female trainer 100%. Yeah, then they would have both been a trainer. One would have been head of talent relations. One would be the morale officer, which both are kind of associated roles, and both would be locker room leaders. So, yeah, nuts. Bryce is our best referee. So he's the head referee. Like I say, D. Malenko, road agent. We've got a lot of good road agents, but didn't feel need to change that. We can add a locker room leader. We can also add a stooge who goes and basically tells on people backstage and finds out gossip and kind of gives us the scoop, but they're a little bit of a target backstage, really. And I don't feel like I need one, because we're in a very good place. There's very few troublemakers. There's some that upset people, but there's very few actual troublemakers. There's very few active smokers, alcoholics, and drug users or steroid users. There's very few political people. There's some big people there, but there's very few actual full-out political people as well who are gonna try and succeed at the cost to other people. So I do feel like I don't need a stooge. If I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know why. Don't just let me know that I do need a stooge and that I should look for maybe this personality type or that kind of attribute. That's helpful. I really would appreciate that. But like also, why do I need a stooge? Etc. So as with everything, weigh in as I'm speaking about it, go type a comment about that thing. Just pause the video, scroll down, enter a comment. You know, you need a stooge because it helps with this and with that, or it's a good way to kind of put someone that you don't care about that you can kind of eventually betray, and you can do it for storylines or whatever your reason is. You can just kind of have it in there. So, yeah, let's see in the circle I wanted to start with. Quickly looking over the roster, I do have a lot of good young people. So I'm going to say 32. They are going to be wrestlers, active wrestlers. There's a little bit of weirdness in there sometimes. But if I look at people who are solid stars, who can act a little bit, but are good on the microphone and are charismatic, and then the rest of these basically at 60 until we get the power. 40, 40. 80 seems to be the go-to for resilience. I need them to have psychology. I don't need them to have a ton of psychology right now. But if I do this, and you can just see kind of just as wrestlers under the age of 32 on the roster already, we do have a couple of people. Jay White, I boosted the popularity. It didn't make sense to me that nobody in the US knew him, nobody in Oceania knew him, and very few people in Japan knew him. Like, he was the leader of the Bullet Club. He was pretty big in Japan. He's pretty well known in Japan. If he went back, he'd immediately be a top guy in Japan. So I disagree with his popularity. So I've changed that. And also then, yeah, they really know him a little bit less around the world, but like they kind of know him in our home territory. He's come in, former Bullet Club. That's a big thing. Member of the Elite and whatnot, and is being positioned for a main event or upper mid-card push at the least right now. So having him in the 30 to 40 range is perfectly kind of right for my opinion. But yeah, he is absolutely fantastic. For 32 years of age, really fundamentally solid. Really solid here. Good acting appeal. Good star quality. Decent acting. Can speak. Needs to get a little bit better. Will get a little bit better, hopefully. And just can do everything apart from hardcore. And isn't really known for high flying, but is competent. Like, this is the type of person I want to build around. And you can see he plays the underdog, got a swagger really well. He helps other people out. And he's great as a heel or a babyface. He is an agitator backstage. Don't love that, but that's fine. We can deal with that. So let me know what you think about Jay, Switchblade Jay White. I like him. I do like him. We can change his picture too. This is how you change the picture, by the way. You alter the details, and then you can either search for him up here, or you can kind of see people in here. So all the pictures that we got set up. So this is the default we're looking at. I don't mind that. That's a nice picture. Nice little smirky pictures. Yeah, I don't mind the default or that one. So we can change it up and we can change his gimmick. We can do little bits and pieces. If he was able to be, if he's willing to do anything else, I could click these boxes. And then when I hit save, it'll tell me whether his contract allows him to do those roles or not. I can set up a bunch of different things here if we have them set up, but we don't. So, yeah, Switchblade is definitely in my plans to go up into the main event and be a main event player. We're going to need to rise his popularity up to like 50, 60. So he's currently mid to upper mid card, which I think is right. The other guy we got, of course, is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's better than you, and you know it. Yeah, the arrogant gimmick works for MJF as well. Again, just fundamentally great, performance-wise, one of the best in the game, especially at his age, probably the best in the game. And again, okay, not so much of a pure wrestler, but like a little bit of everything. And these will get better. 60 psychology, 60 technical. That's pretty solid. Yeah, 60 and 70 from Jay. Not as much of a star, but like still, the two of them, like for the next 10 years, could lead this company. So we do have those. And then basically I'm just going to go. I'm going to go down a lot here on these. I'm going to take psychology out, actually. Yeah, I'm going to take psychology out. So yeah, that's basically the two best that we've got. Then we've got a 32-year-old Japanese Yuka Sakazaki, who, yeah, personnel details, doesn't speak English. But again, if we're doing comedy, we can. She does quite well. She's just very unknown, but she is fantastic. Toni Storm, our women's champion, is kind of the standard bearer right now. She's only 29. So yeah, we're looking at who we've got in place, and Sami, he's kind of low card at the moment. I think he's actually down in Ring of Honor in real life, but very solid 31-year-old again, another decade with him as well. More of a high flyer, but like all round super well-rounded, very safe, very good, very young. So I think comparing him to MJF, you see there's not a ton of differences. Him and Jay, I think Jay's just a little more well-rounded and better performance-wise. Leo Rush is 30. He's only 5'6". He's pretty much a high flyer, but again, Not great performer, but he doesn't need to be one of the top stars. I get a really good manager on him. I think if he doesn't grow, and then just that could be fantastic. Moriarty, pretty much exactly the same, and is a big technical guy. And we got a little bit of aerial and high flying flashiness. We got a slightly bigger guy who's a very technically adept guy. Like a tag team, Moriarty and Rush. Like I can see that happening. Get a good manager on them. That's kind of my thoughts with those. So let me know again what you think of this. But like MJF, Jay White, top stars in the company. Darby Allin, also in the main event. Sammy Guevara, get him towards the top end as well. So those might be the four main event players that we have. Takashita as well. Can't speak English. Needs a good manager or needs to learn how to speak English. But could also be a very good person to have in there. Like, could really be a good person to have in there. That'll give us like 5 top main event guys once we've grown them. But like we definitely got some good talent in the company. So with those 5, so Darby Allin, Jay White, Konosuke, Konosuke Takashita, MJF, Sammy Guevara. I kind of think as long as we push them up and we grow them the right way, that's a hell of a main event 5. That could be world class and probably better than any other company can put out there, right? A top tag team, and we grow some people to feud with them, who maybe aren't great in performance, but like we can add managers in of Moriarty and Rush, kind of position those as the big 2, or we go maybe Takashita, Friedman, and Guevara as our 3 top stars. Maybe those are the top 3 stars. Hopefully get in Bron Breakker, aka Bronson Steiner, to be the 4th, and that gives us Moriarty and Rush, as well as a tag team I don't mind of Darby Allin and Switchblade Jay White. That might be interesting. So that might be 1 tag team. That might be 2. We got 3 main event guys then. That could be interesting. And then we got Tony as our current top star and growing Yuka, as well as a lot of other Japanese options out there to fill out the women's roster quite nicely. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. If we look at anyone in their 20s or younger, we do have a decent amount of them. I just want to make sure, yeah, I want to keep it as wrestlers. So Andretti's 27. He's solid. I think definitely tag team for him. Anna Jay's only 26. She can grow into someone who'll be a good technical wrestler for the women's division. Billy Starks, another good women division prospect. She's only 20. Charlie Bravo's 25. Could be well grounded everywhere. Again, maybe more of a tag team person because people that don't have a ton of charisma, if they don't gain charisma or don't have some star quality, then I automatically think upper mid card, secondary title, or tag team. Daniel Garcia, like 26, very, very good. A top manager, he could be a top guy. We could include him in there. Dante and Darius Martin could be very interesting. Griff Garrison, Hologram, nice little luchador to add into the mix. Hook was being pushed crazily already, um, he could be someone. Isaiah Cassidy also fits in that. Jack Perry, I'm going to use to put other people over rather than make Jack a star because I don't know. I just something doesn't grab me with Jack, so I'm not going to do much for him. Um, Here, I think he's going to help me put other guys over before he leaves. Julia Hart's solid. Kevin Knight already doing some decent stuff. He's solid. Commander's okay. I don't love masked wrestlers, but a couple of them's okay. Chris Statlander, Kyle Fletcher, definitely as well. Lee Johnson, solid. Mansoor could be something. Megan Bain, Nick Wayne being pushed pretty heavily right now in real life. Only 19. Lots of time to train him up. Queen Aminata, I think she's from Guinea, but she's got passable English. Yes, passable English. So she's good. Rio's good. Satnam Singh, 7'4". Like, got to teach him how to wrestle. Got to teach him how to get his fundamentals, and got to teach him how to perform. Kind of got to teach him everything, but he's got a good base grounding here. And again, a manager will kind of let us ignore this, focus on this, and get his brawling up, and then at least we've got a big sort of powerhouse giant to work with. Sky Blue could be really good. She's young. Tommy Billington, the next Dynamite Kid, could be really good. And of course, Turbo Floyd, we've been highlighted by our creative as someone to push. He fits in with all these names, Wheeler Yuta. So we don't need to go outside to get people. We don't need to. In our company right now with some star power, we've got Adam Cole, Adam Copeland, Bobby Lashley, who just needs a manager. Brian Cage needs a manager. Britt Baker, the almighty Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. Y2J Chris Jericho. Swiss Superman Claudio Castagnoli. Switchblade Jay White. Johnny TV, again, he's going to be putting people over. He's 45. And he's got some health issues. And he might be leaving to go do movies and stuff like that. I just don't feel like it's worth doing much with him. But a lot of people that have like 0 to like 20 or 30 popularity, we can kind of have them beat Johnny and get boosts for beating a very good wrestler who is also very popular compared to them. So I think that's what we're doing there. John's currently our champion. Him and Bryan Danielson are gonna like basically run the division. Maybe with Bobby, maybe Bobby's being used to put people over because he is 48. Maybe, I don't know. Shibata's gonna be putting people over that are low down but need some help in our home territory. That's kind of what he's here for in his backstage kind of enforcer role. Okada, really, really good. Keith Lee, really good. Probably putting people over with Keith Lee rather than pushing Keith Lee at 40. Kenny's great. Ibushi isn't very popular, so again, people with below 15 to 20 in the US, like Kota Ibushi would be a great person to kind of help them along the way. Mercedes Moné, our other big female stars right now. So we got her, we got Britt Baker, and we've got, wow, my head just completely went blank. Toni Storm. So we've got those three to carry that division. Paul White can't wrestle, sadly. Do you want to come back and wrestle? Ooh. Okay. So I think he possibly was, and then I just asked him to retire instead of not retire. So I messed that up. But yeah, no. Like, if he could wrestle, then Yeah, there's definitely a chance that we could use him to put people over, but he's primarily a road agent these days with a little bit of color commentary. Ricochet's gonna be pretty good mid card, maybe using to put people over because I don't think he's gonna get much better. So, and he does kind of need a manager to fully succeed. So I could definitely see him in a tag team putting over another tag team. Maybe even him and Bobby Lashley. I could kind of see that putting people over. And like a Brian Cage maybe tagging with a Shibata to put people over. That could work. Rush, I really love. Mexican luchador, 6 foot, 200 pounds, muscle, like just he's gonna be a star. He's already a fantastic wrestler. He's already got everything he's gonna need to really succeed. But he could get a bit better technically over time. He could get a little bit better on the mic over time. Just round out some of his stuff. He's got a little bit of menace too. Um, he just doesn't speak English. Sibling of Dragon Lee 2, sibling of Dralistico, child of La Bestia del Ring, and is married to someone who is not in the game. But yeah, I really like Rush. I think he could be phenomenal. We need to get him over. And if I'm sacrificing a Bobby Lashley or a Shibata, a Kota Ibushi probably wouldn't do much. Um, a Chris Jericho, I think I'm kind of fine with doing that. I'm kind of fine with doing that. Sting can't wrestle, come out of retirement. Yeah, he doesn't want to come out of retirement. Do you want to move closer? Nope, he definitely doesn't want to move closer. So yeah, you can talk to them, doesn't mean they're going to say yes. If Sting could wrestle, I'd love to use his popularity to put people over, but again, we could just make him a manager, Paul White a manager, and kind of work that way. And there is Tony. So we do kind of have, I think, enough star power right now. We do have enough good youngsters. So we are going to need to start booking our TV and our storylines and deciding whether or not I want feedback on this. Do you think it's worth us doing something here? So 75,000 a month. It would get rid of this penalty. That would be 75 a month. We need to do that, and probably the next one should probably be 25 grand. And then we probably need to do this all 3 times, which would be another sort of thing. Yeah, we're probably going to pay like 150 to 125,000 a month to get these up to WWE levels. And I think where we're at will be right around 10% off our final show total. So once the quality of the angles and the quality of matches have been judged and added together, there's going to be a few other things that happen, but that's going to give us our overall show number. And then, because our production values are behind one of our rivals in WWE, we're going to lose points for each things that we're behind. And the more we're behind, the more we lose. And it'll cap out at 10%, which is where I think we're roughly about anyway. So there's no bonus in probably upgrading those right now. But yeah, I definitely want some feedback on those. Let me know kind of what you think about that and how we're going to do that. I'm going to wait till the next video to put the storylines together. So I want some feedback on those names I've highlighted. People like, especially like Rush. Like, I just think he's fantastic. Kyle Fletcher. The real names that they put, real life names they're pushing, like Hook and Nick Wayne. Like, of all those people I showed, is there someone there that really needs to be looked at? And then also, I'm just going to flip through the people I've got on the shortlist. You can see where they're set up here and how old they are. Anyone grabs your attention, then do let me know. There are going to be people like Alexa Bliss, Andrade, etc. on here as well, which, yeah, just anyone that you look at and say, like, oh, we need to kind of make them into a star in our company, leave it in the comment section and we will sort of add those to the list. And that'll go into what I build on the storylines and who I go after when I can. But some people are under contract. Some people aren't available to work in the US. Some people don't speak English. But I'll go over that when names are mentioned. We'll discuss pros and cons. 19, just, yeah. I think I'm already... yes, right. She can't think. Yeah, I wanted to do something with her, but I couldn't. Yeah. But there's a lot of young people, a lot of people in their 20s, a lot of people like who are very, very young as well, who are good. Some names you'll notice. Bron Breakker's here as well. I think he's definitely one of my targets. He's one of my two big targets, if I'm honest with you, off this shortlist, who I think I could build a company around. Let's see, he's really good for 30 as well. Like Cody, fantastic, but my second name isn't Cody. My second is Demi Bennett, aka Rhea Ripley. Yeah, him and her would probably be my dream signings from WWE. Sami Zayn's just a phenomenal person. Bringing him aboard won't be bad. Yeah, the Stevensons, Bobby and Gable. I kind of want to do that for a tag team. Again, let me kind of know about that. Julia, born in London, is a Japanese wrestler, only speaks passable English. My only sort of issue with her, she could be absolutely fantastic. Like I say, 17-year-old Japanese wrestler there. There's a 19-year-old Mexican here. So there's a bunch of teenagers who would just be phenomenal. Ilya, I got a lot of love for Ilya. Your Sky's in here. Jacob. Yeah, we could do something with Jacob, right? We could do something with Jacob. 100%. So, yeah, Kevin Steen. I'm gonna speed up a little bit, but yeah, feel free to pause and kind of look, pick up names, let me know, because this, like I said, is going to set up Michael Cole as a future announcer for us. Stealing him from WWE would be big. The Miz, just a good all-round guy. Not really to be a top star, but like to put over people into the main event. A couple of these older people over 40 are just going to be to put over the younger talent and make their ascension grow, and also teach them a long way. Because if you are wrestling against someone, then if you've got 1 point or more in any of the primary mental, fundamental physicals, or charisma and acting, I believe, then there's a chance that you're going to learn something off them. It needs to be at least 5 minutes long, and it's really slow learning until you get up to about 10 minutes match time. If a match lasts 10 minutes or more, you learn a lot more. And the longer the match goes, you learn a lot more from them. And the bigger the gap, the more they kind of have to teach you. Very tiny amounts, and you kind of gain 1 point every maybe 3 to 4 matches, depending. But yeah, you can wrestle a lot of people. So not only would beating someone of high popularity like Miz be really good, but he could really make them a better all-round wrestler in places that they don't really have things. And like Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn, especially, again, would be phenomenal at that. So that's kind of why some of these names are here. Santana, I think, could be a very interesting one to push as well. Envy Young as well for 30. Like, we got so many good options. We don't need to get everyone. Nixon Newell is Welsh, which really makes me want to push. Plus, I love that hair. Paul Heyman, color commentator. Hear me out. Manager, but really color commentator. Imagine that. Add him to the booking committee. Make him our primary color commentator. Maybe with Michael Cole. And have him manage some people. Just, yeah. Who are you? You Gigi Dolin? Are you Gigi Dolin? How do I check? You might be. Yes, you are. You are. The hair's very different. The makeup's slightly different. I like this look better. But yeah, there's a few ex-WWEs in here who are very well-rounded and very young. So it's like bringing people out. Yeah, Becky Lynch, aka Rebecca Knox, again could be very useful at bringing through the next generation while being a top star right now. Um, so yeah. So if I'm getting people from this Israel as well, could be that kind of transition, moving people up the card. Shinsuke could be phenomenal for putting people up top of the card. Yeah, Cody Graves, Sterling James Keenan. Good play-by-play and color. So that's kind of my thought there. Plus, going to 3 shows, needing 3 play-by-plays, 3 color commentators, at least, could be really interesting. Selena Vegas could be good. Trevor Lee could be good, 31. So yeah, we got a lot of like young people on this shortlist who can develop really well, and then we've got some early 30s who'll be really good. And then we've got some 40s and so that I think would be people to help develop and push people up the card. So that's my current shortlist. Anyone grab you? Let me know. And then drug testing. So we do have different things here. I know drug testing somewhere down near the bottom. So okay. So on low, we'll catch the heavy users, but we can miss people because it's randomly selected. Medium, we catch all users, whether it's hard drugs, soft drugs, steroid, occasional users, heavy users, recreational users. But again, it's random and only a few people are tested after each show. And then high is testing everyone, but only catching the more substantial users. Extreme tests everyone. So yeah, 7,500 per show plus 3,000 per worker tested. We're probably going to use like 20 to 30 people per show. So you're looking at every show 100 grand at extreme. You know, that's kind of the issue. Looking at like 50 grand for high level. And yeah, you're looking at a lot of money here, like 80 to 90 grand. Even at low level, we're probably looking at like 35 or so thousand maybe per show. Per show. That's 2 shows per week plus 1 event a month. That's 9 events and TV right now every month. That's $250,000, probably closer to 300,000 per month. Before we add the 3rd TV show that I think we're going to end up wanting to do later on. That's at the lowest level. And so yeah, like, do we just be okay with soft drugs? Is that fine? Maybe? I don't know. Or maybe we just pick and choose and find out different people that we're most worried about, that we're most testing, rather than just testing everybody or randoms at different shows. Maybe we do it ourselves and just fully go through and kind of check it. So I want to feedback on that as well, because that's gonna be big. So yeah, the production, do we increase that? The drug testing, where do we set up? Who on our roster really stands out as you guys wanting us to try and push? I've got my own names, but collaborative effort. Who on the short list looks like we desperately need to bring them in for whatever reason. And then, like I say, next episode, we'll be looking at the storylines as we have this information of who we want to bring in, what the picture looks like now, who we're trying to grow, who you guys want to see more of or less of on the roster that we currently have on the short list, names you didn't see in the world that you want to check out for the future. But that'll give us all our storylines. Then we can move forward, set those up, and actually book our first show. So first show, AEW Dynamite, gonna be tomorrow. So yeah, get your thoughts in the comment section. Get all your questions in. Timestamps can help if you're asking a question about a certain thing. So do leave a little timestamp about where in the video it was. But yeah, all information comment section. Make sure you smash like. Let's get this going. Let's get this underway in the right way. Hit subscribe. Let YouTube know we're here and we want to grow. We want to build a big and active community, have a lot of fun together, and just have a nice little place that we can enjoy our games together. So like, subscribe, comment, you know the drill. Check out my other playlists as well. Might be something there that you like, and please again, do like those videos as well. Share if you really enjoy them, if you think someone else would enjoy watching. And yeah, if you've got any spare cash, probably not, but hey, gotta ask. Then memberships are available on the channel as we grow. We're like 40 odd away from 1,000. The road to 1,000 begins, and the road to domination in TW begins with Dynamite in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe. All the very best to you. Thank you very much for being a part of this journey. I hope you're going to enjoy it as much as I am. And I'm excited to see what we can do together. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll see you there.